Live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Budapest. I hope everybody is having a healthy and productive week so far. Hi, Samuel. Hi, Jaineel. Hi, Michael. Hi, Hina. Nice to see our members in the class on time. While we wait for a few more of your peers, this lesson is brought to you, of course, by aehelp.com, where we have lots and lots of IELTS materials and strategies and videos for you. And for general IELTS students, it's GIELTS help.com. This is a members chat class. Welcome, members. If you'd like to become a member of our YouTube channel, you need to click the join button beside the subscribe button. To become a member of our websites, simply go to aehelp.com, click that big red button to become a premium member and enjoy the over 100 hours of video lessons, fully interactive course, and original practice exams. For general IELTS, it's the green background, and you click that big red button to join us there. Of course, we have apps that work together with our websites. For the academic website, aehelp.com, we have the app Academic IELTS Help. And for the general IELTS Help website, gieltshelp.com, we have the General IELTS Help app. If you ever have questions about the exam or our products, let us know. We are British Council Test Registration Center partners. Send an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I'll gladly answer your inquiries. Hi, Bhumi. Hi, Rajveer. Hi, Dr. Krishna. Hi, Nazir. Nice to see more of you in the class. Of course, you can also get our exams in paperback version from Amazon. If you search Amazon for aehelps Academic IELTS or ghelps General IELTS, you can get our practice tests, which we use in these live classes. Okay, members, today we are looking to start a new Task 2 question. This was a question that was sent to us by one of our members a while back. I can't remember who it was, but it's a great question. It's taken from a past IELTS exam, so it's definitely a good one. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll go through step by step. This question is a really good example of the importance of planning and coming up with good ideas. So here we go. Let's first of all read this question carefully. That's always the very, very first step. Pay really close attention to the specific details of the question, the words that are used, the grammar. Okay, here we go. So IELTS Task 2 writing, you should spend 40 minutes on this task. In some countries, an increasing number of people are suffering from health problems as a result of eating too much fast food. It is therefore necessary for governments to impose a higher tax on this kind of food. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Okay, so to make sure that you really understand this question well, let's rewrite this. So let's paraphrase this. And again, it's to what extent do you agree or disagree, and give reasons for your answers. So it's this type of question. So let's paraphrase this. This is definitely a good one to paraphrase nice and quick. Help gather some vocabulary. We'll help you with the background as well. And of course, it's right 250 words at least. Yeah, so Samuel, Nazir, first step, paraphrase, okay? In the exam, if you're scared that you don't have enough time, at least paraphrase it in your mind, okay? If you think, yeah, I don't want to spend time trying to paraphrase this on paper, then at least do it in your mind, okay, at the minimum. So here we go. I'm going to do this, you do the same, and we'll compare. I'm staying quiet a little bit so you can think. All right. So that's my paraphrase there. Let's see. Has anybody come out? Oh, that's great. Look how quick some of you are now. That's fantastic. You're beating me to the punch. Super. Okay. So Bhumi says in a few nations, an accelerating number of individuals are suffering from disorders as a consequence, careful with the spelling there, Bhumi, of consuming excessive amounts of junk food. It is thus essential for governments to implement a heavier tax. Nice. We use that for sure, heavier tax on this type of food. To what degree, to what degree do you agree or disagree with this opinion? To what degree? Bhumi, give explanations and examples according to your own knowledge. Good. Okay. All right. Rajveer says many people are facing serious health concerns due to the overconsumption of fast foods, which has led the governments to tighten controls in the form of taxation. Very nice paraphrasing, Rajveer. I can tell that you're really digesting the question and coming up with your own way to say this. Okay, nicely done. And then you finish with, to what degree are you in favor of this notion? Very nice, Rajveer. You've been studying hard, and that shows. Okay, Bekjan says, in some nations, the proliferation, nice use of that word, Bekjan. So in some nations, the proliferation of individuals are being afflicted by health issues caused by consuming too much unwholesome, I think, too much junk food, such as hamburgers and hot dogs. Nice. So you went with the actual name of the food. I went with the name of the restaurants. Good for you, Bekjan. And then you said, it is therefore essential for governments to come up with a higher tax on this type of food. Good visualization, Bekjan. So you're visualizing the hot dogs and the hamburgers. I was visualizing the franchise establishments. Okay, good. Dr. Krishna says many countries have large amounts of people with health issues due to the habits of eating junk food. As a result, it should be mandatory for governments to impose higher taxes on such food. But Dr. Krishna, it's not, it should be mandatory. So this is where, Dr. Krishna, you can really check the accuracy or the clarity. Notice that it's not actually saying that governments should impose. It says it is therefore necessary for governments to impose a higher tax. So it's not even whether the government should do it or not, but it sounds like they're doing it. Okay, so the plan is to do this. And then it's asking you, to what degree are you in agreement with that governments are doing this? Okay, so it's not a hypothetical question at this point, but it's, or a situation, but it's an affirmative, it's a definite situation. Okay. So careful. Again, you want to be as accurate as possible to these questions. Samuel says in countries around the world, individuals are afflicted by health issues, and these are escalating due to fast food restaurants. So it's important for governments to mandate taxes on such foods. Okay, Samuel, I made a few corrections there. You have some grammatical and word mistakes also, so careful. All right. Rajveer. Number 2, in certain nations, there is a surge in the number of individuals who are suffering from health issues due to eating or having a lot of health food. As a result, it is essential for authorities to increase the tariffs on such food. To what degree are you in favor or against this? Very nice, Rajveer. Both Rajveers. Very good job on that. Okay, excellent. Hi, Sammy. Hina, majority of people around the world confront health issues for eating unhealthy foods. It is necessary for the government to put higher taxes on such food. Okay, Hina, I think you've generalized the question. I don't think the question says the majority of people. It says in some countries. an increasing number of people. Fortunately, it's still not the majority of people. That would be a serious, serious issue if 8 billion people and the majority were having this issue. Thankfully, it's not that bad yet. Also, you've generalized it, Hina, to unhealthy foods, but the focus here is on fast food. Okay. All right. Michael Fan says, oh, I'm crying and laughing because you didn't read mine. Mine was the first, and it was probably so far up there, Michael, that I didn't even see it. I don't see yours, Michael. It somehow did not appear in the stream. So, yeah, I don't see yours. I'm going to do one last check, Michael, to see if I can catch it, but I'm not seeing it. I see Boomi as the first one, then Rajveer, and above Boomi, I just see everybody saying hello and me starting the class. So, something got rewired in the wrong direction in the great World Wide Web there, Michael. But threat not, I will read your next answers as we go along. Here we go, students. This is my paraphrase. In certain nations, a growing number of individuals are afflicted with physical ailments as a consequence of consuming a great amount of junk food from restaurants like McDonald's and KFC. So notice, students, that junk food covers a broader range of food. So it's not just fast food restaurants, but junk food also covers chips, chocolate, sour candies, and the likes. But this question is focusing on fast food, and fast food is more connected to junk food that we buy at these restaurants that serve the meals very quickly, under 5 minutes, like McDonald's and KFC, okay, with low quality nutrition in these foods and a lot of byproducts as well. So that has to be clear. Okay, it's a very important part of this question. As a result, authorities have had to implement more taxes for this type of product and service, okay? So, because here we're talking about the product and service combined, right? So we're talking about those hot dogs and hamburgers, and not just what they are, but the way they're made and delivered. There are, in fact, healthy hot dogs and hamburgers out there, okay? So if you're buying quality meat with quality ingredients, you can make a very healthy hamburger, but that's not what we're talking about here. Okay, and then to what degree do you support or oppose this action? So again, of course, you have to really visualize and have this clear in your mind, okay? And then definitely give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. So with the two parts of the question here, to what degree do you support, and give examples from your experience, that's really aiming for a first person essay here. So we can see that in this essay we're going to use I, me, and my opinion. I've seen this, I've experienced this, I read about this. So this kind of voice of the author, right? Okay. So what is the topic of this question? So identify the specific topic, okay? Be specific and concise, right? That's very important for the topic here. Okay, so Boomi says the topic here is junk food. We're talking about junk food. Careful, Boomi. Use the original question when you do this, okay? It's not junk food. So junk food, Boomi, is incorrect for the topic here because we're not actually talking about junk food. Okay, Beckjohn says we're talking about fast food. Fast food. Okay, I think, yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Sure. We can be even more specific than that. Okay. Yeah, so Rajveer says the topic more specifically is it okay to have higher taxes for fast food? Okay. So the topic here is high taxes for fast food. Okay, that's the actual topic here. Um, I mean, we could start by thinking about fast food, but really we're talking about high taxes for fast food, okay? Or Bekjana says tax on fast food. Good, yeah, that's the more specific idea here. Controlling ideas. So what's the controlling idea here? The controlling idea is the question, okay? Is it good or bad? Right? So is this good or bad? All right? So that's the controlling idea here. Okay, so what does it mean to have higher tax on fast food? So now we go through the questions, right? So what is higher tax on fast food? So think specifically here, okay? What's the answer? Bekjan, yeah, I mean, should governments do so? That's not the question here, but is it agreeable? So is it okay or is it not okay? Again, it's not hypothetical. We're saying here that this is what the governments are doing. Is it okay or is it not okay? Right? So it's not hypothetical. The question doesn't have should in it anywhere. Okay? So Samuel says increasing the price of items. Okay. So it's not quite. Okay, Samuel, I think you can give me a better answer than that. So Samuel says increasing the price of items according to its value. That's kind of close. When you're thinking about higher taxes on fast food, what other products are good to consider so that you can have a better idea about this question? So this is where really thinking outside the box and using your creative critical thinking aside from your English skills can help to write a much better essay. Okay, so we're not just increasing the price of fast food here, students. It's not just saying that a burger today is $5, tomorrow it's $10, but it's a tax, right? A tax is a special type of increase. Okay? So I would say that higher tax on fast food means creating, and I'll teach you a new word here as well, creating an additional surcharge for the purchase of fast foods, which leads to, which is paid to the government. Okay, so here it's a little bit more specific, right? Okay. What else, what other kind of products could you think about in this case? And I think some students have actually done that. I believe it's a listening exercise from one of our exams that talks about the different reasons for taxes. And maybe one of these will come into mind. Now, Rajveer Singh says to dissuade people from eating fast food. That's going to come later on, okay? A surcharge, Natalie, means an extra charge. So a plus charge for something. Like, Natalie, if you buy a large luxury vehicle, you have to pay luxury tax. That luxury tax is a surcharge. It's an extra charge, okay? Okay, very good, Turk. So Turk says, I asked you all this question, and Turk replied, very good, Turk. So my question was, what other products come to mind? Okay, and Turk very cleverly says, other products that come to mind with this kind of tax are smoking, so cigarettes to be more specific, right, Turk? Not smoking, but cigarettes, and alcohol. There are some others as well, right? But cigarettes and alcohol are definitely the common ones that come to mind. And again, I know that some students have access to our exams and our products, And you should have heard about this kind of taxation system in one of the listening exercises, right? Okay, so let's keep this in mind. So right now, that's enough that we thought about this, cigarettes and alcohol. So why does the government impose these higher taxes, right? So it's creating an additional surcharge for the purchase of fast foods, which is to be paid to the government. Why does the government create this kind of surcharge? Okay. Remember that exam about going to the free market? Certain products go to the free market, and certain products like tobacco and alcohol are not allowed to go to the free market. So the three reasons for taxes are revenue, redistribution, and it's called a repricing tax. Repricing tax, for those of you that remember that listening exercise. And it's interesting because, members, this question that we're answering in this task 2, this one came from a past IELTS exam. The taxation topic, that came from our listening exam, one of them, I think exam number 4 or 5. Okay. So Sammy says because these products are harmful to health. And Nazir says to keep people healthy. Okay, so try to answer these clearly. You're on the right track. Now you want to be even more accurate with your answers. So one answer that I got, and these are good answers, is to discourage people from eating a lot of junk food or fast food, right? So if it's more expensive than healthy food that takes a bit of time to prepare, then people are less likely to eat that food, right? So that's one. Samuel says to dissuade people. That's very good. It's the same as to discourage, right? So nice use of that word, dissuade people. Yeah, dissuade means to discourage. It's another nice way to say it. Okay. All right, Boomy says to minimize pressure on the environment. Sure, fast food has a negative impact on the environment. To minimize negative pressure on, or to minimize environmental damage. Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of rainforests being cut down to produce meat for certain fast food companies. Okay, and again, keep thinking. So, what does the government use tax money for? So, this is the reason why a pack of cigarettes now in Canada costs almost $20, because the Canadian government says, hey, if you smoke and you get cancer, lung cancer, that's going to be very, very expensive. So ideally, when governments collect money from these socially irresponsible products, then yeah, that's right, Rajveer, they are able to build infrastructure like more hospitals to repair the damage that's done. That's right, Boomy, to help in healthcare. So to discourage people from eating fast food, and also to have money to pay the additional costs that are created in the healthcare system, right? So that's the idea behind it anyway. Okay, good. So how does the government do this? Okay. So how does the government do that? So how does the government create this additional tax? Can somebody give me an example of this? Okay. And this should be fairly straightforward now that we've come this far. So here you're just thinking of what is that surcharge. So give a specific example. Okay, I'll give one. Let's see if you come up with something similar. So okay, so that would be mine. Okay. Yeah, so Beckjan says buying a KFC franchise and building it requires more expenses because there's more additional tax. Turk says there could be an additional goods and services tax. It would be the name of it wouldn't be a goods and services tax, Turk, because the GST, that's more of a generalized tax. So that's the tax for all products in the market. So in this case, it would probably be something like the tobacco and alcohol tax. In this case, it would be something like the fast food tax. Okay. So they would probably name, the government, I'm sure, would name it for what it is. Just like tobacco and alcohol tax, you'd have a fast food tax, something like that, right? Okay, good. So then the controlling idea is, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay. And now that we've talked about the topic here in such detail, what would be your answer here? So what is your answer here? Okay. So for the controlling idea, what is your answer? So here you keep it simple. The what, why, how. It's very simple. So Sammy says, I strongly agree. Why? Why do you agree? Okay, so everybody's strongly agreeing. I think that's definitely the right position to take here. Okay. Completely, Boomy, it's okay, and Sammy, it's okay. I would go with strongly. Fully agree. Yeah, you can in this case, I suppose. It's one of the examples where you can. Why do you agree? So what's your reasoning for agreeing here? Okay. So notice I'm taking a little bit of a different approach to this planning today. I'm going more granular with the topic and the controlling idea. So why do you strongly agree? Okay. So Samuel says, I partially agree. I wouldn't do a partially agree, Samuel. I think you get into a very difficult situation here. So Samuel Sadir says, I partially agree. Although tax could be beneficial for the health of the society, it could decrease the consumption of those products and destabilize the economy and decrease revenue. I don't know about that. People need to eat, Samuel. I'm sure they still would, and a healthier population tends to generate higher revenue than an unhealthy population. Spending money on healthcare is usually a burden for a society rather than a benefit. So you have to be careful, Samuel. This is one of those kinds of questions, and this is why this question was such a good suggestion by one of our members, because this question is a perfect example of where partially agreeing doesn't actually make much sense at all. Okay? Any product that's harmful to society very clearly, arguably, should be taxed, right? Okay? So it's really an uphill battle to try to explain that a product which destroys human health should be allowed to go to a free market. It's basically nonsensical without being too harsh. Okay. So let's see. Why do people agree? Because it not only helps the environment with pollution, but it helps citizens. Okay, I would stay away, Abhishek, from the environment. I think that would be difficult to argue. My logic motivates me to say because individuals should be encouraged towards being healthy. That would be my one concept here. So we should always try to encourage society to be healthy. Of course, everybody has free choice to smoke, drink, eat junk food, but nonetheless, we want to encourage people to be healthy, right? And the second point is, and also, those who choose to eat fast food should be responsible for funding the additional for their additional health expenses, right? So why should I pay for some guy to have a heart surgery because he's been eating junk food all of his life? A heart surgery, as I'm sure many of you know, is very, very expensive. And if he chose to eat junk food all his life, knowing that that leads to heart surgery, then I think it's only fair that they at least contribute to that surgery by paying that tax, right? Okay. So that's kind of my argument here, all right? And the how is just a reflection of what we've discussed here, okay? Or what I just said, right? So how? By creating a surcharge which makes consumers think twice before eating KFC, and by having a lifelong fan of junk food fund their own expenses for cardiac problems or diabetes, right? Very sugary, okay? So something like that, all right? So that would be my what, why, how. All right, students, I think we're kind of all on the same page here. If you think I'm out to lunch, or if you think I'm down some crazy road, let me know, okay? I welcome disagreement if you think that it's warranted. If not, then let's come up with our thesis statement. Okay, so let's follow with this idea and come up with a thesis statement. The reason I wouldn't talk about the environment, although that is another point, so I can't remember who that was that came up with the saving the environment. That is a valid point. It's just too long. I think it's Abhishek, right? Yeah, Abhishek, you came up with the point for helping the environment through this. Yeah, and that is a valid point. So fast food does actually create a lot of damage to the environment globally. Having those large cow farms in Brazil, for example, to provide produce for the hamburger patties. But I think that going into the explanation of the environment would be more challenging, unnecessary to do that, and that would be for a longer essay in university or college. It's not necessary for the IELTS. 2 good points is enough here. Okay. No, Sammy. Sammy's asking a funny question. So Sammy says, will I lose marks if the examiner loves KFC or McDonald's? No, absolutely not, Sammy. The examiners are not biased in that way. If you make a good argument and it's clear. I like McDonald's and KFC every once in a blue moon, but there's no way that the examiner should be biased like that, okay? So don't have that kind of fear, okay? All right, so come up with your thesis statements. I'm going to do the same. So All right. So that's my thesis statement. Let's see what you came up with. Samuel says, I strongly agree with the decision on taxation of fast foods because it not only eases the burden on the healthcare system, but also forces lifelong consumers of fast food to fund their own expenses. Very nice, Samuel. That's a nice thesis. You kind of inversed what I did, but that's great. It works. All right. Rajveer says, I strongly agree that governments should increase tariffs on fast foods as it encourages individuals to be healthy and assists strengthening the healthcare system. Assists to strengthen the healthcare system. Yeah, Rajveer, that works. Assists to strengthen the healthcare system. Sure. Beckjohn says, I strongly agree with the given policy that governments implement higher taxes. Let's take out that should, Beckjohn. Implement higher taxes on fast food since it not only discourages people from consuming it, but also makes them responsible for the outcome. Very nice, Beckjohn. Notice that those couple of slight corrections there, Beckjohn, those are quite important. So it not only discourages people, use the subjective noun instead of the pronoun them, okay? Take out the should, so use affirmative language instead of modal language, especially when it's not required. Modal language makes arguments weak, so you want to use affirmative language like can or simply just use the verb implement, okay? All right. Sammy says, I strongly agree that governments should impose more taxes on fast foods because it discourages the buyer and keeps them healthy. As well, it helps the nations to provide a better healthcare system. Sammy, that's good. Don't use the word on the other side. On the other side shows contrast. In this case, it's not really contrasting, okay, because both of these are in favor of this higher taxation. So careful with that on the other side. It's like one side, the other side, right? On the one side of the argument, on the other side of the argument, it's opposition, but you don't have opposition here. You have agreement, okay? All right, Bhumi says, I strongly agree with governments that impose heavier tariffs on fast food like McDonald's, since it not only encourages individuals to be more fit, but also helps the healthcare system. Very good. Okay, so you have your two good points there. Bhumi, in your thesis, don't really get into specifics like McDonald's. Have that more for your body paragraphs. Okay. Sometimes in the introduction, we'll give one specific visual detail like that, just to make the writing more interesting for the reader, but you don't have to learn that technique for the IELTS exam. Kind of keep it more just your specific argument. Okay, Bhumi? All right. So this is my thesis statement here. I'm in complete agreement that governments impose repricing tax. If you've learned the word from our exams, then use it. So that governments impose repricing taxes on fast food as individuals should be held accountable for the costs related to their unhealthy habits and society for the promotion of people's healthy living. So held accountable, these two words here, they modify both costs related to unhealthy habits and held accountable for the costs or held accountable, for the promotion of people's healthy living, for society's promotion of people's healthy living, okay? Yeah, so I'm going to do a little bit of correction there to have the grammar a little bit better. Okay. So, because this held accountable, it modifies my first point, modifies my second point. Okay, so that's how it works. All right, good job. So I think we have very clear direction. Now notice how I did this. So first of all, I discussed the individual. So costs related to unhealthy habits of individuals. Okay, So individuals should be held accountable. So first I want to talk about the individual, and then I want to talk about society. That usually makes sense. So in a lot of essays, a lot of topics, we talk about the individual, and then we talk about the larger group. If you have this kind of concept in your body paragraph, so talk about the individual, talk about the group or society, it's usually better to talk about the individual first in a body paragraph, and then about society second, because you're going from the small granular building block to the larger framework of the many building blocks of the many individuals. Does that make sense? So it just reads better. It makes for a better essay. Remember that for your college and university and your workplace as well. Thumbs up on that, everyone. Is that clear? So individual first, society second. It just reads better. Talk about the brick, then talk about the house. Right? Okay, good. All right. So remember, structure in content as well. Good. All right, fantastic. Clear that everybody is with me as well. Okay, let's get to the hook. Okay, so now we're ready to write the introductory paragraph. Okay, obviously that starts with the hook. Let's start with a hook. Okay, so come up with a hook. Let's see what you come up with. Again, it should be interesting. It should catch the reader's attention. Okay. Should be simple. No mistakes. Okay. So Samuel says, ease of access of fast foods bellies the health effects of it. Samuel, it's unclear. I'm not sure what you're writing there. I think you have misused a few words, and that makes it confusing. Okay. The negative effects of it. Yeah, Samuel, keep it simple. No mistakes in the hook. Mustafa, the hook is just a very simple sentence that catches your reader's attention. Just like the hook when you go fishing. That's literally where it comes from. Okay. So the term hook in writing, it comes from fishing. Okay. Your reader is the fish. There's your reader. Nice big fish. And if you have a good hook with a nice big juicy worm on it, then your reader will swallow that hook and read the essay. Okay? That's the idea of the hook. The hook should be simple. It should include the topic, in this case fast food, and it should express some general fact that's really interesting. Okay? Okay. Abhishek says billions of high taxes for food levies to maintain healthy lifestyle of humans. Abhishek, grammar mistakes, lots of words, keep it simple. Bekchan says billions of dollars are derived from the taxation of fast foods every year. Very good, because we're talking about the taxes on fast foods, right? Turk Berry, focus on health is crucial and critical as fast food chains the public in its grasp. Okay, so Turk, you have fast food in there, which is okay. As we said, the full topic here is more about the taxes or the higher taxes on fast food, right? Nazir says fast food is creating health issues among citizens. Sure, that's good, Nazir. So you're using the focus of the topic, which is fast food here, and you're keeping it simple. That works. Okay. All right. That's good. So maybe something like this. There we go. It's kind of a tricky one. It keeps the reader guessing a little bit, but definitely includes the concept of money, perhaps taxation, and fast food. It's sometimes a good idea to really just kick off your hook with the actual topic if you can. So fast food may seem cheap, but in fact, it is very expensive. Okay? So something like that, right? Okay, so Turk says, let's see, I think you had something before there, Turk. Focus on health is crucial and critical. Turk, don't use crucial and critical together, just one. They have the same meaning. So focus on health is critical as fast food chains the public in its grasp. The reason why that's awkward, Turk, is because a fast food chain is another way to say a fast food franchise. So it's a little bit confusing there. Okay. So taxation makes this even. Too complex, Turk. Keep it more simple. Rajveer says, increasing taxes on fast food is an approach nations have taken to keep their citizens healthy. I think that's more the argument, Rajveer. Again, I think everybody's overshooting the hook, okay? This is why I think a lot of students are scared to write the hook in the IELTS, but you shouldn't be. Just remember to keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's what I've said before is maximum about 12 words. Okay, I'll give you a couple more hooks so you get this, okay? So fast foods may seem cheap, but in fact, it is very expensive. Or fast food may seem cheap, but in fact, it is very expensive. Fast food tax is an important part of a functional society. Okay? Use the name of the tax. Fast food tax is an important part of a functional society. Taxing fast food is the right, let's not give an argument yet. So taxing fast food is synonymous with tobacco and alcohol tax. Okay, that would be another one. So there's 3 different kind of interesting hooks. If you visualized correctly, and Turk did that with tobacco and alcohol, why not use that in your hook, right? So fast food tax is synonymous. If you can't think of the word synonymous, of course you can replace that with a simpler word like similar to tobacco and alcohol tax. So taxing fast food is similar to tobacco and alcohol tax. Okay? Again, notice how all of these are just very simple, right? One line, not even a full line. They're 10 to 12 words each. Okay? No fancy grammar, no fancy vocabulary. It's not necessary, right? Okay, and then comes the background information. All right, the background is definition. I think many of you know this already. Definitions and importance. Okay, and I'm going to leave that for homework, and then of course the next part of the introduction is the thesis, and I'll just copy paste that in there. And then we have our introduction. So our introduction would be something like fast food tax is an important part of a functional society, and then a definition of what fast food tax is, what fast food is, why it's important to talk about this, okay, and then the thesis, I'm in complete agreement, and then we have it, okay. So get your introductory paragraph finished and ready for tomorrow, and then tomorrow we'll continue with the body paragraphs and developing our ideas in details with some good examples, writing that first person essay, okay? Again, this is a past IELTS question. I think actually not that long ago, this was a question on one of the exams before the COVID. So whoever sent this, thank you. And we'll finish it up tomorrow. For homework, just complete the introductory paragraph. It shouldn't take you long, okay? Only 5 minutes. You're very welcome, everyone. I look forward to our class tomorrow to finish this essay. For all of those watching in 30 minutes, we have a new reading passage coming up, a brand new reading passage from the exams that we are developing for later on this year, so that we'll have 10 full practice exams for you. So it's exciting. It'll be the first time I'm teaching this reading passage as well. Make sure you're here for that. That's coming up in 30 minutes. And to get all of our products, videos, practice exams, interactive courses, apps, join us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Bye for now. Hopefully I'll see you in half an hour.